Okay, we got section 5, 6, problem number 1 that I asked you to do with the homework. And instead of doing the rest of those problems, I wanted you to practice the partial fractions and the trig sub. So that the homework for 5, 6 should be these 9 problems and this problem, number 1. And and it's basically about the Simpson method, which says S of 2n is 2 midpoints plus 1 trapezoidal divided by 3. Now they said, let's get the exact area under e to the x. Well, they're doing this one because it's easy to do. The integral of e to the x is e to the x. Evaluated from 0 to 4 means you put 4 in, and so you get e to the 4 minus e to the 0, which is 1. So that's the exact value. Now let's get this in decimal. They didn't ask us for that, but let's get it in decimal because we're going to need that later on. So e to the 4 minus 1 is exactly, or is approximately, I should say, 53.5981503. Now I want to keep that, so I'm going to store, and I don't know if you know this about the calculator, but you can push store and put that under, keep that number stored in one of the letters, and I'm going to go alpha A. So if I quit or clear, I can go alpha A, and it will tell me that number. It's got that number memorized now. Okay? So that's in my A box. Now it says do left 2. Okay, left 2 means on that e to the x, let me get a piece of paper here so I can draw that for you. We know that e to the x looks like this, and if we're doing it from 0 to 4, and we want to do left 2, we're going to go to the left side of the first one, so this would be 2. We go there, and we would go there, so that's e to the 0 and e to the 1 are the e to the 2 are the two heights. So it's going to be, the width of each one is 2 times e to the 0, or 1, plus e to the 2. That's the exact value of left 2. Right 2 would be 2. Now we'd have to go to the right side for the first one, so it'd be e to the 2 plus e to the 4 for the right side. Okay? The trapezoidal would be these two averaged. So I'd add these up. So I get 2 e to the 0s plus 4 e to the 2s plus 2 e to the 4s, 2 e to the 4, divide by 2, and so the 2 divided by 2 would get rid of these. So I got e to the 0 plus 2 e to the 2 plus e to the 4. Now the midpoint 2, I would have to go to the halfway point, which is here, and do a width of 2 times e to the 1 plus e to the 3. Okay? So what's my error? Okay, now to do the error, I'd have to take this. If I want to do exact values on my error, I'd have to do e to the 4 minus 1, subtract 2 e to the 0 minus plus e to the 2. So the error would be e to the 4. And see, this is minus 1, and this would be minus, this is 1, so minus 2. So I get minus 3, and then I'd have minus 2 e to the 2. There's my error. On this one, I would do this, which is 2, I'd have to do e to the 4 minus 1 minus 2 e to the 2 plus 2 e to the 4. So I'd get it should be 2 of those, and minus this whole quantity. So I got e to the 4 minus 2 e to the 4, which is minus e to the 4, and minus 1 minus 2e squared. That's the difference between these two. And I could turn them around, and so it could be minus plus plus, and it could be plus minus minus. The error on this one would be e to the 4 minus 1, the true value. Find the difference between that and e to the 0, which is 1, plus 2e2 plus e to the 4. So the e to the 4 minus e to the 4 cancel, and I have minus 1, which is minus 2, and I have minus 2e to the 2. And for the midpoint, I would have e to the 4 minus 1 minus 2 times e to the 1, 2e to the 1, minus 2, because it goes to both of these, minus 2e to the 3. So I have e to the 4 minus 2e3 minus 2e1 minus 1. And I could work those out in decimal for all those. And I don't know which way they did them, but that's the idea. Now, what's the Simpson 2? They said Simpson 2, and that would mean that we would not use trapezoidal 2 and midpoint 2. We would use trapezoidal 1 and midpoint 1. Now, I'm not sure if they did that, but since we have these values, I'm just going to work with those. Not sure that they did that, because that would be Simpson 4 according to the rule, because it's twice whatever those two are. And they said Simpson 2. Well, maybe I should do Simpson 2 and compute the error for each. Okay. Let me do Simpson 2, and then I'll check it, compare it with the answer. I'm not sure which one of those. Let's see. This is on the answer. That's 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 2, 3, 4. If you looked at the correct answer. And this is trapezoidal is 1 plus 2e squared plus e to the 4. That's right. And this is midpoint. And so if I'm going across, this must be the Simpson one. So I'm going to take a look at this real quickly. Let's take a look at the midpoint value, just so we know what we're doing here, which is 2 E1s. It's 2 parentheses E plus e to the 3rd Yes, they did use this one. So they're actually doing Simpson 4, because that's what they used in their answer key. So they've got this mislabeled. This should be 4. And so we're going to do this answer, which is 4 point all these numbers times 2. So that's 2 midpoint 2's plus the trapezoidal 2, which was this plus this divided by 2. Got that. So now we got to go plus the trapezoidal, 2 midpoints plus the trapezoidal. So I got to go plus the trapezoidal here, which is plus e to the 0, which is 1, plus 2 e to the 2, plus e to the 4. That's that. So that's 2 of these plus that. And then the Simpson rule says divide by 3. And we should get really close. And that turns out to be 53.86384575. And if I subtract what I stored in A, the correct answer, minus alpha A, I get an error of 0.2656, 0.2 out of 53. So that's a big number. This is a small error in the 53. So it could be 53.86 plus or minus 0.26. Okay? And now, that's okay. This one, this error, they worked out. They worked out this error. They just showed the subtraction. This is the correct value from the correct value minus these values, and they got the errors for there. And for this one, I'm checking their answer. Yes, they got this number. Okay, then they said do the same thing with 4, 4, 4, and 8. Okay, so this one, if we're going to do 4 on this, go back to this picture. Next, let me draw it again here for 4. So e to the, and here's 0, and here's 4. If we're doing left 4, we're going to go to the left side, so we're going to have e to the 0, e to the 1, e to the 2, e to the 3. So we're going to have 4 of them. Each one's 1 wide, so it's e to the 0 plus e to the 1 plus e to the 2 plus e to the 3 times width of 1. The right's going to be e to the 1 plus e to the 2 plus e to the 3 plus e to the 4. Trapezoidal is going to be the average of these. So it's going to be e to the 0, there's only one of those, e to the 0 plus 2 E1s plus 2 E2s plus 2 E3s plus an e to the 4. And if I'm going to do the average, I have to divide by 2. So I just need a half of E0 plus e to the 1 plus e to the 2 plus e to the 3 plus half of E4, because e to the 0 only happens once, but e to the 1 happens twice, and I need half of that. So it's just one of them, one of them, one of them, and half of e to the 4. That's the trapezoidal value. The midpoint 4 would be, I'd have to go to the midpoint on each of these. The width is still 1, so I'm going to have 1 times, but I'm going to do e to the 1/2 plus e to the 1/2 plus e to the 2/2 plus e to 3/2 times a width of 1. So that would be the approximate area using the midpoint formula. Now you can do the errors. You can figure this out and then subtract it from this, and you'll get an error and an error and an error and an error. And you can do that work. But I want to do the Simpson for and see how much error we get on that. So the Simpson Simpson 8 would be 2 midpoints. So I got to take 2 of those. So now I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to figure this number out. E to the 0.5, or the square root of e, plus e to the 1.5, come down, plus e to the 2.5, down, plus e to the 3.5. I didn't do the power. To the 3.5. Come down, get rid of that. So that's midpoint 4. Enter. Now, according to the Simpson rule, I need to do 2 of those. So I'm going to take this times 2, then add to it the trapezoidal one. So now it's going to be messy. It's going to be 0.5 times e to the 0, which is 1. So that's just 0.5, plus e to the 1, which is e, plus e squared, plus e to the 3rd, plus 0.5 times e to the 4th, enter, and that's got to be divided by 3 to get the average of the 2 midpoints and the trapezoidal. So divide by 3, and that should be really close to the correct answer. That's 53.616228. And if I subtract the correct value to find the error, or take the correct value and subtract it, either way, the difference in them. So I'm just going to go minus alpha A, because I still have it in A. And now my error is only 0.0180, much less, quite a bit less, 1/20th of the error that I had before. So if we did about 5 or trapezoid 8 and did Simpson 16, we'd have very little error. Okay, that's the idea of the Simpson rule.